Well, this is Tanya Brewington. I'm the CEO and founder of Courageously Alive. And I want to say, hey, welcome back for another week, another talk this week. And today I want to talk a little bit about gratitude and being grateful. And the top, really what I wanted to share is find something to be grateful for. And the reason I say that is this morning I went on a walk. And while I was walking, I was approaching this intersection where traffic actually comes in and out of the shopping center. And a truck was sitting in this particular driveway of this intersection, and he saw me coming. And this truck, who's in an 18-wheeler, decided to back his truck up. He backed his whole rig up so that I had space to walk in front of him without walking in the street and without walking very, very close to where his truck was, the front cab of his truck. And he waved at me when he did it, when he was done, like, hey, I see you, and I just want to make sure you're okay. And, at that moment, I waved back to him. I was smiling at him. I was kind of in my head like, oh, wow, how nice. What a nice gesture. Because truly, he didn't have to do it. I could have just walked around. But he made it his point to make sure that to let me know that I had space to come on, walk on in front. I'm not going to hit you. I'm not going to come up on you really close. And I just thought that was so nice. And I just felt gratitude at that moment that someone who didn't even know me, I didn't know him, had never seen him before, never saw the truck before, but someone who didn't know me took the time to do something that was just kind. And the truth is that kindness, I felt such appreciation and gratitude for. And so, one of the things that I want to talk about a little bit is how we need to spend more time in gratitude for our lives. And there are things in our lives that sometimes we feel that we don't want to be grateful for. We may have had experiences that were not nice. We may have been hurt in our lives. We may have had some disappointments, some serious issues. There are things that we're still carrying and we're still dealing with, but we can still be grateful for our lives. And we can be grateful for those life experiences, even though they're not what we necessarily wanted. They're not what we thought was the way it should be. But those things, those experiences in our lives have helped to shape and to make us who we are. And the thing that becomes interesting about it is that some of those things that we've thought of as wrong or bad or not what you wanted to have happen at the time, when you spend time, you fast forward and go forward, you find that those experiences are the ones that you are grateful for because they truly help make you who you are. I'm an entrepreneur. I've been in business since 2002, and I have several friends. Many of my friends are actually entrepreneurs. And one thing that we talk about periodically is how our experiences growing up have shaped who we've become as entrepreneurs. It shaped the decisions that we make. It shaped the way that we see the world. And while we may have things that we want to work on, things that we want to change, things that truly, there are areas that we wish were different, the things that we wish could have happened differently. What we know is that without those experiences that we've had, we wouldn't be the people, we wouldn't be the entrepreneurs, we wouldn't be in positions that we're in today. And this applies not just to the people who are entrepreneurs, but also in life. When I talk to other people who've had certain experiences in life, they find that those experiences that happened when they were young really shaped and molded them in ways that they feel that they are better people today than they would have been without those experiences. And so in terms of the friends who are entrepreneurs, I have several friends who grew up without a lot of anything. I mean, almost like next to nothing. And those people are some of the best entrepreneurs because in their mind, they have a deep hunger to make sure they don't return back to that particular position they were in. And they're part of the reason that they do what they do is to make sure that they are well supported, their families are taken care of, and that those people around them see that it's possible to change, to get out of the loop of where they were into something different. I have friends who grew up without a lot of money. And that speaks to a lot of people. It also spoke to me, but because of it, they have found ways to make sure that people understand how to manage, how to handle, how to manage, and how to really deal with their money in a way that allows them to shift from being people who are struggling with money all the time to people who are doing things like investing and saving and investing and building true wealth in their lives and for their families. I have other folks in my family, in my life, whose parents, their upbringing, and our upbringing wasn't always great, but the thing that happened with this is that people who have experiences where their parental upbringing wasn't good have made, in some cases, a commitment to be better people, better parents for their children than their parents were to them. I have folks that I know whose fathers were never around, and men in particular, and they have committed that no matter what, their children will have their father, which means them, at all costs. They're going to be there in the lives of their children. And so those experiences that we think of as wrong, as bad, as hurtful, as harmful, and I wish it hadn't happened, they really have the ability to shape us. And it's those experiences and other things in our lives that we really can be grateful for. And sometimes what happens is there are things that are happening in our life that we kind of take for granted because we think it's always there, or we think it's not a big deal because it's happening so regularly that we don't give it any credit. We don't really spend any time saying, oh yeah, this is something I should be grateful for. And so it could be a person who's in your life and who makes sure you're taken care of. It could be a family, he or she. It could be family members, it could be friends, it could be significant others, it could be your job, your work situation. Whatever it is, find a way and find something to be grateful and appreciative of in a way that allows you to really, really feel that sense of, wow, this person did this, they didn't have to. Or, wow, look at the sky. It's just a beautiful sky outside. Look at these trees. Look at the flowers. Do you hear these little birds chirping every morning? Because when I go out walking every day, or during the days that I walk, I hear the birds. I think they talk to me. So I'm sitting there talking to the birds because, we could be in a world where we don't hear this stuff and where we cannot really appreciate the beauty that's there. And so I want to ask you to commit yourself to finding things to be grateful for. And what I would say is find at least one thing, but you could probably find up to 5 things. And if you're really, really focused and attentive, and you look for things that you may normally just take for granted, like someone opening and holding the door for you, or someone who left something for you when you didn't expect to have anything there. Those are small things. They may seem small, but if you are appreciative of them, you find gratitude in them. And I would say write them down. I have a gratitude journal, and I write down the things that I can remember for that day that I can be grateful for. Because what I know, and what you're going to find if you do this, is that the more things you are grateful for and that you're thankful for, the more good things will actually show up in your life. And who doesn't want to see good things in their life? But this is a practice that I want you to commit yourself to. Find something, some things, because I'm going to suggest 5 to 10 things each day that you can be grateful for. And sit back and just savor that. I mean, savor what that feels like to be grateful, because those are the things that will bring more good and more goodness into your life. Now, this is Tanya Brewington. I want to say, hey, enjoy your weekend, enjoy your holiday. Take care, and I'll talk to you again next week. Bye for now.